I'm going to open the meeting up to the public now. I think you're good if you want to say. Any questions, concerns about this one? Okay. I'm going to close the public hearing. Any other questions amongst us for this? All right, I'm going to go through the 5 steps. The Zoning Board of Appeals is making its determination shall take into consideration the 5 factors. The board must weigh against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood or community. The first factor, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties, will be created by granting the area variance. Allison?
I did not see this. I agree.
No, I don't see it as undesirable at all.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. I don't think anyone's even going to see it because of the way it's blocked out. The second factor, whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. Allison?
No, I don't think there's another way they could do it.
I agree. I mean, the plot's pretty small.
I agree.
I agree that it is a small plot already, and there are, The third factor, is the variance substantial?
No.
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 I agree. As Mike had mentioned to us previously, although number-wise, something can look substantial number-wise, but physicality, it is not. The fourth factor, will there be an adverse effect or impact on physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district?
No.
No.
I don't think it'll change. I don't even think the neighbors will see it. The fifth factor, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the Board of Appeals, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance.
I don't really see it as, I mean, I guess technically it's self-created, but not in a way that would really be detrimental to the community.
Yes, I think it's self-created, but it's, in my view, that factor's de minimis, given the other 4 factors.
And I agree with that too.
I agree that it is self-created because it's a desire to add on, but it is not a detriment. So, may I have a motion to grant the area variance?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the application as is.
May I have a second?
A second the motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll read into that we're granting. We are granting, bear with me. Many papers. 215-16 bulk regulations where the front yard setback 60 feet is required, 30 feet is available. A variance of 30 feet is approved, is granted, I should say, excuse me. Then a 215-24F.3, no construction shall be permitted with 100 feet of the water course. The distance of the water body is 100 feet, 58 is available, and a variance of 42 is granted. And 215-33D, conforming uses with dimensionally non-conforming building is granted as requested. And 215-52 is that they need to start and do a majority of the work before 2 years. All right, and so we can move forward on that one. Okay. All right, our third application of this evening is McGrath, 54-56 Quaker Hill Road, Pawling, New York, 134089 705601401708. 239, General Municipal Law, referral from Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development indicated this matter is exempt from 239 review. This seeker, the State Environmental Quality Review Act, said this is a type 2 and no action is needed. And a site inspection happened on Saturday, November 16th. The members in attendance was myself, John, Allison, and Helen. Okay, so just to address this as well. While doing the site visit, we had some questions about the other structure that is on the property, and it was realized that it's not currently on the property assessment as per Dutchess County parcel access. This will have no impact and shall not have any reflection on this application. It's something that's going to be addressed by the town assessor and code enforcement officer. So none of that is to be considered in this application.
I want to make that a point of discussion. You've been given that recommendation from our lawyer, but I believe I have some points to make in reference to that.
Okay,
But I think it should come up in process. We should hear the presentation.
okay. We're gonna move forward then. The variance before us, the board follows 215-16 bulk regulations in an R1 zoning district for a side yard setback where 20 feet on one side and 50 feet on the other side is required. For the deck, 20 feet is required, 8 feet is available, a variance of 12 feet is requested. For the proposed addition where 20 feet is required, 15.8 feet is available, and a variance of 4.2 feet is requested. For the street frontage, 200 feet is required, 126 feet is available, a variance of 74 feet is requested. 215-33D, conforming uses with a dimensionally non-conforming building. A non-conforming building with conforming uses shall not be enlarged, reconstructed, or structurally altered or moved unless such structure alterations cause the building to become conforming. Sorry, I'm getting tongue twisted here. 215-52F, the required code of the town of Pawling, expiration of an appeal. Unless otherwise specified by the ZBA, a decision on any appeal shall expire if the applicant fails to commence and substantially complete the work relevant to the decision within 2 years of the date of such decision. And as-built is required to be submitted to the building department prior to the receipt of a certificate of occupancy. Jeff, your turn again.
So again, Jeff Moore from J Group Designs representing McGrath. What they would like to do is where there's an existing deck right now is to replace the deck that's there, construct an addition over part of where the deck was and moving over into the existing driveway. And they want to rebuild a smaller deck on the one corner towards the property line and move the stairs away from the side yard lot line and into the backyard. And they'd also like to put a bathroom on the second floor because the house only has one bathroom right now.
Okay, my quick question is, in the variance, it is asked for, bear with me, I'm sorry, there's too many pieces of paper here. The, sorry, I had it right in front of me. There's, of the three, you said specifically the deck is one of the setbacks. And then the other one, you said the addition. When you say addition, do you mean the dormer or do you mean the addition on the back porch?
The first floor addition where the back deck is right now.
Okay. All right, I just wanted to clarify that. Should have numbered my pages before I started all of this here.
So, but you've highlighted it in red, which is nice, so that you're not going farther toward the property line than where the deck is currently.
Exactly, yeah, even that corner will be pulled back a little bit from where it is now.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it is on the close side there. So they want to keep one of the existing doors and just retain part of the deck back there and then move the addition further into the property. There's another interior door. They're going to open that up and then have an entry on the side of the house from the driveway.
Right, and just to clarify, the dormer, there is, because it's not going farther into the yard at all, there is no variance for the dormer. You're just showing that you're doing that additional.
It's just over the existing house in that area.
I
Yep.
just wanna. All right, what are the questions we have? Allison?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Don?
No.
Ms. Helen?
Yeah, I think I'm fine about the drawing and what you've presented.
Okay.
Okay.
Then, do you want to discuss now or after?
Well, you should have a public, is there
Okay,
any
we'll do the public hearing now.
hearing?
All right,
Because I don't think we should be talking about decisions until after the public hearing.
okay.
Okay.
Now, we do have one letter. Do you want me to read your letter?
Read the letter, and then we'll get up and speak.
You want to read the letter yourself?
No,
Or make
you
me
can
read
read
the
it.
letter? Okay. To the members of the planning board, regarding Blake and Sally McGrath variance request, we are writing to express our views regarding the variance changes requested at 54-56 Quaker Hill Road, Pawling, New York. We reside at 60 Quaker Hill Road, which is to the left of the McGrath house, and we are not in favor of the variance to exceed the permitted length for the following reasons. The variance will put the deck and the house too close to the driveway and could become a distraction and hazard to delivery vehicles and family. Will rainfall from the addition be properly dispensed? We currently get water on our property from theirs, which runs into our yard where our septic fields are located, and we are concerned about our septic system because it is below their yard. Has an environmental inspection gone to look at the plan and ensure the drainage will not flow onto our property? Does the current septic and well meet the code for the additional space? Our house was constructed so we could have privacy. The addition will decrease that privacy. So we ask respectfully that we have the right to reasonable privacy in our backyard as is expected and afforded to us by the zoning rules in place when we built our house. As per the above bullets, we expect, bless you, this will cause a negative impact on our property value.
Sorry.
With the building of the addition so close to a property line. You need a tissue?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
The above bullet points are our comments and concerns with the variance. We ask that this variance not be approved. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Robert and Josephine Smith. Okay.
My name is Robert Smith, and over the whole impact of it, he has 1 acre of land, and he keeps building. You know, that's why I put my house where I did. But he's got that 1 acre of land. He's got a swimming pool and everything else. And this is my concern over his septic system. Where does he have room if the septic itself goes bad now? Where is the expansion for it? Does he have enough room? To me, he would have to have 160 foot at least for the one septic. Then he's got the little cottage in the back. Where's the septic for that? You can't keep building on lots. You have to have room for your septic and everything else. Where is this water going to go? You see what I'm saying? You know, it's common sense. I know I got to go see the building department. But you can't keep building and building where you have no room. And besides, I went and checked. Supposedly, that addition that he put on and the back deck, they have no variance on. And that existing house, when he put the addition on, where you go down in the basement, that is only about 7 feet off the property line. How that addition was ever constructed, I have no idea. That's why I would like things straightened out now, before it got too far.
All right.
Was the addition constructed when you were living there, next door?
No. I built the house after he put the addition on.
Uh-huh.
So
But you
That's
know
why
that,
I set the house back.
you know there was an addition that was added from the,
Yes, but that's
You
why I
gotta talk into
say,
the microphone.
that's why I say,
Do it
you know,
there.
the building inspector should have went up and said, where's your variance? You know, they seen how close it was. What is going on? No, that's my biggest concern. I set the house back when I built it, so I'd have him have privacy and try and give him privacy. Now it's all gone. So,
All right, thank you.
I
yep,
just have a question for you, Mr. Smith. Are you objecting to any addition at all?
I
Or,
don't- I don't
or is it
object to-
the location?
I want, the biggest thing right now is location, but I want something done where does he have the proper room for his, he's got to show expansion on fields. I don't care, because you got to realize that, you got to take that in consideration. Either you say no, is there proper space for the expansion of the septic? You know, maybe it doesn't concern you right now, but putting another building there, you're cutting down on the space to use. You see what I'm saying? So, whether you guys got to work with the building department to figure this out, there's something here that's definitely wrong. Because like I say, probably he needs
Sure, your main concern is the septic and the water.
the septic and everything else, and I'd like to know where his septic is away from my well, because I had to be 100 feet away from the well and the pond. And I would like to know exactly where it is. But no, him having the addition, you put it back. You don't put it that close. For the fact is, if he didn't get a variance on the other, no, that's it. He did it once, he ain't doing it again,
Thank you.
okay?
Anyone else want to speak on it?
I would say one thing, we're not adding a bedroom, so it's unlikely that this.
well, where is the septic on the property?
My name is Blake McGrath.
You wanna-
Can you come up?
Yes, my name is Blake McGrath. I'm actually the owner. The septic system shouldn't be impacted because we're not adding an additional bedroom. I used to install septic systems, and anytime you added a bedroom because the septic system is designed based on number of bedrooms. And we are not adding a bedroom. It's just a small sunroom that we're adding onto the house. As far as privacy goes, there will be more privacy from my neighbor than there currently is, because the deck is an open deck area, and when my family come over and we hang out on the deck, everybody is right there, we're outside, his yard is right there, so there's really no privacy. With an enclosed sunroom, we will be indoors, windows, and there will be limited windows along the wall that faces his house, so in fact, he'll have more privacy than he currently does. And the house was built in 1930. My grandfather lived there. He had 5 kids living in the house. And in respect to the addition that he's mentioned, I went through the proper channels, got a building permit, got a CO for the addition at the time that we did it. Why a variance wasn't needed, it wasn't something for me to ask. I submitted the plans.
Well, but you've got a separate house with living space in it. Where's the septic for that? Has that been
That's in the back.
presented also?
It's in the back of the apartment there.
Because there's no record of that building and its resources, so it's a fair question that he's asking about it. Because you can't go to the building department and see that. Did you know that?
Yeah, that is totally new to me, because I have, my parents actually, when my grandfather passed away, my parents bought the property. And they actually, in the apartment that's over top of the second structure behind my house, was built by my grandfather. The house was built in 1931 as a Montgomery Ward's kit house. I don't know the exact year.
House in back is a.
No, the house in the front, right.
Yeah.
The house, the building in the back, I don't know exactly when that was built, but it was built when my grandfather was alive, and I suspect sometimes probably in the 40s or 50s. and he put the apartment over the top for second income. And when my parents bought the property, they actually got a letter from the town of Pawling, which I have a copy of, 1992, that states that both houses are approved to be rented, because my parents bought it and they rented the house that I live in now in the front, and I actually was living in the apartment in the back when I graduated from high school a few years later. But there was always an apartment there, you know, in my lifetime.
So,
But I'm surprised that it's not, something's not noted in
the
Hold on.
apartment, his
Skoogie?
name was Don Sutton.
Robert Smith, he's speaking.
as far as not showing up in the building apartment or the zone, that's really new to me, because I have a letter from the town of Pauling, I think it was,
this
yes,
is the
19
letter.
yes.
And it's one sentence saying, this letter is a confirmation that the houses on your property were built prior to zoning.
Right.
1930, and that you would be permitted to rent the houses as single-family residences. Unfortunately, that's so confusing because they're called houses, and certainly you are allowed a grandfathered use, but even now, the town doesn't know how to deal with it. And that's a question I have right now. A concern that we couldn't get answers, deeply concerned, because, but we can discuss this later, but it's not clear, and I think that's a problem. You would help yourself a great deal if you could clarify it on the record and in paperwork, because we couldn't get those answers. And
What exactly answers are you asking?
well, these are called houses, yet the building inspector suggests it is an accessory apartment in that second. So which is it? Those are two different things. If it's an accessory apartment, there are new rules about, you know, establishing that with the town. I don't care how old the building is, you have to, there's an application process. Did you
Yeah.
not know? You have to do an application for an accessory apartment, whether
Well, it was,
exists or
the
not.
accessory apartment was there way before I purchased the property. And there's been a tax collector coming to our house.
Helen, this is all very
Okay.
pertinent, it's important, but it's not pertinent to this. And as per the town attorney and.
I respectfully disagree, but we'll talk about
I
it.
understand that, but unfortunately, that has to kind of be where
Well, I don't
you know.
think the town attorney is aware of the range of information that's confusing, and.
Well, I understand, but that, I believe, needs to go between the assessor, the building department, code enforcement, so that is a totally separate beast in itself. That's not something, it has nothing to do with the variances before
Well,
us today.
I want to make another statement about that, and when we have our discussion.
Okay. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
Thank you.
Can I just ask one question? And one of the things that you said was that the deck is going to be replaced by a sunroom, which will be more private, which I don't necessarily disagree with you, but you have moved the deck closer to the property line.
The deck won't be moved any closer than it is currently.
He wants to use the,
Excuse me.
The deck won't, if anything, it's going to be less than it currently is, I believe. That's what Jeff stated in the diagram.
But
And it's not it's more of just because we have an entrance, we have a doorway, and it would be just a way to go out onto that area.
Jeff probably can answer.
Jeff, did you want to address that question? Oh, wait, do I have to close, I didn't close this, the public hearing yet. Do I need to?
No, not till they're done.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. The corner of the deck actually will be less than what's there now.
yeah, I see that there,
There's a
yeah.
little, that
It's-
corner will be removed, and then the stairs will be put between the house. Slightly less encroachment in that corner.
I do have one question. Instead of going this way, you know, going out this way, was it ever considered to go this way instead? So it's not going near the property line? I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah, go the other way.
Instead of going this way, was it ever considered to go this way, so you're not going near the property line?
Yeah, what's in here is our kitchen. All of our kitchen cabinetry is along this wall, so it would make it very difficult to go out
I see.
that direction.
Okay.
Easily. Here, we already have, access in and out of the house, and we wanted to just include a boot room. So our access into the house now is coming from the back, which is open to our neighbor's view every time we come and go. Where the proposed addition is going to be a boot room with an entrance here, where they won't see us coming and going. And, this will have very small windows on the side, and like this will all be enclosed. So there's going to be less visibility of us, and especially when our family are all gathering, we're not going to be out on the outside.
I've got the plan here too, if that helps. Yeah, these
Yes,
are
that does help.
high windows.
Yes.
Yeah, they should speak into the microphone.
Right.
Sorry, yeah.
Yes, and I have that too.
Good. All right, I'm gonna, did you want your chance to speak again?
Yes, I would just like you
Wait till
to,
you get to the microphones before you start.
I would just like you to look at this and see what the address is. One is 54 and the other is 56
But again,
on real estate, but it always shows the same house. How can you have 54 and 56, same address?
I understand that, but that is something has to do with the assessors.
Okay.
Building and code.
Okay.
We're not to address that.
Yeah, but like I said before, once that deck comes off, it's not to come back, try and sneak back over. He snuck 2 in, no more.
Anyone else like to speak? All right, I'm gonna close the public hearing. And Allison, do you have any thoughts?
No.
Well, I guess the thought that I had going in was why when you have property on the other side, you can't go that way? Because the property, it is already very close to the property line. But I guess there is an explanation for that.
Ellen?
I can't vote on this the way it is because the explanation of the construction is very straightforward, and even keeping in mind your thoughts, the footprint is very much what's already there. But I have too many other questions, and you can say the assessor will take care of it, but I think it has bearing here. And it's because the rest of the property, it's not clear. It's as if we went to the site visit. We went there, and we saw a structure that was not described. It was here in this drawing. But that's also very close to the property line, and that no one has addressed that. Oh, by the way, we apparently didn't need a variance because it was built too early. But my real concern for you all, and you all can vote, but my feeling is this. Just like when we go to a property and we see a piece of foundation over a property line and we say, what is that? And the neighbor, and we try to get an answer. Or if we see something that's inexplicable that affects our decision. I mean, if I saw a bog turtle habitat and said, that's bog turtle, they should have noticed that. And instead it's groundhogs, but someone would have come and seen it and answered. And I reached out to pretty much every part of this town, and I didn't get an answer. And it's not the issues. The assessor can take care of your extra building. I'm happy to stay out of it. My concern is I still don't have answers. I have responses that don't agree. We have something from, in the 90s, 1992, there was a building inspector who said that you have the right to rent the houses as single-family residences. So that's not an accessory apartment. And fine, that's fine. That if it's here, if you're given the right to do it, that the assessor can deal with that because it's not on record anywhere. But then reaching out, and I hadn't seen this. I didn't find that out until later, and the assessor was very kind, the deputy assessor. Everyone helped. The building inspector, our current one, said that it's one property and there's an accessory apartment that needs to be legalized. Well, if there's an accessory apartment that needs to be legalized, that's in essence an open violation, and we should not be considering this right now under the town's zoning, what's it called, Chapter 67. And again, if someone had made some effort to define it or put it in motion, if there was an application, if there was some effort to address this, but there's been only confusion.
Well,
So, no.
I think, I'm sorry?
So, and then we received word from the assessor. The assessor doesn't even have a description of it. So I've said, oh, there are bog turtles there. And someone says, they're not bog turtles. We need to know why that's not bog turtles and it's the groundhogs instead. It's simply an information issue. And in a month, we may have all these answers, and I'll stay out of it. I find this rather a modest proposal. But what bothers me is we have questions. We did a site visit. There's a reason we do a site visit. We did something a year and a half ago. We went to see a building in Holmes, and it was a substantial house. It had another house behind it, in essence, attached, that no one had ever recognized. And the family said, oh, we always thought it was a two-family house. Well, it turns out the septic was not adequate. And the reason that I said, understood it had been purchased with an understanding, the owner had already started spreading and building a septic field that was appropriate for the size of the house. We don't even have a square footage for this to even know if, and I know it's not my concern if it's got a legal septic. The issue is we couldn't get an answer. We couldn't get an answer. This, in the parcel access, it's described as a one-family residence. That's an oversight. Why is it like that in parcel access? Then it's the square footage. I asked about square footage because I thought, well, maybe this is an issue because it's something that's been an issue in the past, and the architect was very kind to write a letter. Maybe you did it, Jeff, but defining the square footage is 2,500 square feet. And your actual house we're dealing with is roughly half that. So it's fine, it's more questions. And then you do have to apply for an accessory apartment. There are fees required to get a permit for an accessory apartment. And I believe if this is an accessory apartment, you still have to do it even though it was built in 1930. And you may not know this, and it may be simply a question of getting answers. But I'm not happy that the building department, the assessor, even the planning department, nothing, I can't get a straight answer, and that concerns me. And if there is a violation, the Chapter 67 clearly says here, the purpose is to prohibit the processing and approval of any application that might have outstanding fees or violations. And again, I find this a modest proposal. I just need these answers. You all may not feel that way. So that's my response.
I believe, as Blake mentioned, that he was not aware of the assessment issue.
Sure.
So at this point,
It's just a question of getting the answer. It's not a question of even stopping your proposal, according to me.
I just want to confirm, you will prefer not to vote on this?
Right.
At this point, because there's just three of us, would you like to take that into consideration? And, I mean, I don't know if you want to, I don't know if you want to vote on this. Right. At this point, because there's just three of us, would you like to take that into consideration and?
We would ask for an adjournment to the meeting in January.
And would you like to adjournment till January and, you know?
understand you're down a member?
We're down a member currently, and at that point, I hope to have a full board. And then also, in the meantime, hopefully we'll get some of the answers so that we can have a more party decision, because right now you're
And two, this wouldn't come in front of the planning board.
What?
This wouldn't come in front of the planning board.
it's.
It would be the assessor and code enforcement officer.
Sure.
Okay.
I just want a straight answer that agrees from someone. That's literally all I want. It doesn't matter what the answer is even, actually, because it's not in our purview. That's just the way I feel.
I have to say, I agree with Helen, if only because this is a contested application, and I think in terms of having a full and complete record, it's probably better off in everybody's interest.
And that,
You know, and I say that, again, the same, I want to make this, the same statement as Helen. This is not a reflection on my view of the merits of the application.
just for clarification, the deck that was put on, I think in 1998, went through the permit process. At that point, it was internally within the town. It was not deemed that he needed variance. That obviously is not on property owner. But the water issue and the concerns from your neighbor about the water issue, and so if you do choose to possibly have an adjournment, maybe that could be looked into a little farther, and then you give us some answers on where the water's gonna go and kind of a game plan of what you would do not have a water issue.
Gutters up and then collect the water through the gutters and
Okay, do you understand the adjournment process? Okay, basically, we kind of table it,
Yep.
and then you'd come back in January, and we would have answers on the assessment issue about whether it's a separate residence or whether it's an accessory apartment, which again is not preferred,
yeah,
but
that's my question. That's a different issue altogether.
I understand, but here's the major issue is Helen doesn't want to vote.
I think there's a potential violation, and I'm not asking for that to happen. I'm just saying we haven't gotten answers, and I don't know why we couldn't get any.
Does that violation impact what I'm trying to do now?
No,
Yes,
Well,
when you have a violation
if
on
it
the
was-
property anywhere,
you'd have to clear it up before.
yeah.
If you
have
did
to-
have a violation, you'd have to clear it before.
And it
you
may
could-
not be a violation, it may be just simply clarifying this one sentence in 1992, that it's actually two houses. Maybe it's as simple as that, but I just don't have that answer.
But if we move forward right now, Helen says she's not voting, so that leaves 3 of us to vote. And, because we're missing 1 person, so if you take an adjournment, that means you come back to us in January with more answers and a full board.
Okay. Is it that you need 3 yes votes? for this
Yes,
board? Is that
you
right?
need,
That's-
you need 3 yes votes right now. I can't tell you you have or not, I
But
don't
there's
know
only
what
3
they're
people
thinking.
Voting, so you would need a yes from everyone.
You need a yes from all of
Whereas
us,
if you have another member-
and Helen, because Helen's abstaining, and Fred's not here, so if, you know, those are kind of,
Sure.
you know,
Yep, I understand.
so if you, ask for adjournment, then.
Well, I thought I made it clear that when I said I'm with Helen.
Oh, okay, I apologize,
Yeah,
so,
I don't want to,
all right, so you're down to 2,
Okay.
so, so, do we have to formally ask for, okay, can you come up and formally ask for an adjournment?
So yes, Jeff Moore again from J Group. We would like to ask the board for an adjournment to the January meeting, if that's the next meeting.
January
That's
27th.
January 27th then.
Mm-hmm.
May I have a motion to adjourn this to the next meeting on January, I just said it in the
27th, I think it is.
27th.
27th?
I'll make a motion for that.
Seconded?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Wait, we didn't do anything with the public hearing. So you're gonna leave the public hearing open to the next meeting, then you just need to make a motion.
Is it,
Yeah,
do
you
we,
either have to close it or leave it open.
do we
Or you
have to
can
leave it
close the
open?
verbal portion and leave it open for written comments until
I'll leave
January
it
2nd.
closed for the verbal portion and open for written.
Because that's not my issue, the application itself.
We already talked about.
So you're making that motion?
I make the motion, any seconded by?
I'm not sure what we're doing. I'm sorry,
That-
Joey.
That's all right. Closing the
Clo-
public hearing, but if someone wants to write a letter, we'll
Yes,
accept a
absolutely.
written letter.
Yes,
Seconded by John?
yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So then, in January, the board has to then close the verbal or the written portion of the public hearing first,
Okay.
okay?
Give me a friendly reminder for that one?
Mhm.
Okay. We're gonna move on to the minutes.
Can I step back for a second, because I'm a little concerned, and I want to give Mr. Smith his day. If we're going to reopen, I just want to make sure we're reopening this in January. But if we've closed verbal comments, then will Mr. Smith have an opportunity to respond to any issues that may come up at the new meeting?
Not verbally. So if you leave the
He can
public
write-
hearing,
He can write a letter. Would you prefer to leave it verbal?
I would prefer to leave it open.
okay,
Alright.
so,
John makes a motion.
Can we
okay,
undo
so,
that? Make a
right,
motion
so
to
make
undo
a
it?
motion
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was,
We didn't vote.
to,
Leave completely open.
motion to withdraw the first motion, and then you
I
make
feel like I'm in
another
a Mel Brooks
motion,
movie.
and then you're making a motion to keep the public hearing open
Yes.
till January 27th. And who seconded that?
I will.
Thank you, Helen.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, thank you. We'll see you all in January.
Very good, thank you.
May I have a motion to accept the minutes from the August meeting?
Yeah, check. I'll make that motion. I think they were excellent.
Seconded by?
They were long.
I'll
second.
All right, let Allison second.
All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night. We already set the schedule for January. There was one site visit I was gonna, but I guess as it gets closer, we can discuss, but there was just one January, I wanted to see if we could move the date slightly.
Well, we could do it now so that, you know, I post it correctly.
Have it for the 11th?
I had it for the 18th in January because of the way that,
Okay,
I did
that's it.
some of them
Then-
later in the month,
Yeah,
depending upon
then I
how
need
the,
it for the 11th or the 25th. I'm at a cow convention on the 18th. Don't be
Okay.
jealous, okay?
I'm jealous.
There's actually no physical cows there. It's just big meeting about cows, so.
so does
The
the board
11th
want the
or-
11th? Would you want to go for the 11th in case it snows and then we can
Yes.
reschedule
Yeah,
to
smart,
the, okay.
smart.
So then, once I redo this, I will recirculate it, and to Maria too, the agenda.
All right,
for
may I
next
have
year.
a motion to adjourn?
I move.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So was part of this on video then? Because Maria got here?
Yep,
Yeah.
I think halfway through,
Are we still on?